Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. I'm Mark Nuce. Thanks so much for joining us today. We have several guests on the program today, but we're talking about the New Albany Symphony and a special series of concerts that they have coming up. And our friend Heather Garner from the New Albany Symphony is here. And Heather, thanks so much for being here again today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you were on a few weeks ago, and we touched on this, but you have some special concerts that are occurring on Saturdays this year. Tell me a little bit about what's the content and what makes them so special.
Yes, we do have a new series called Saturday at the Symphony, and these are sensory-friendly performances. They're never longer than an hour. We are gearing them towards our friends in the autism community, also our friends in the dementia and Alzheimer's community, and really any families that prefer a relaxed, sensory-friendly environment.
And tell me a little bit about what are the dates and what are the contents of these symphony performances?
Sure. Our first one is actually on December 17th. This is Santa and the Symphony at 11:30 at the McCoy Center. It's an all-holiday performance. We have Opera Columbus that will be there, a few singers from Opera Columbus. We are also featuring the New Albany Center Stage Singers, a young group of performers in New Albany. Then we have Take Me Out to the Ball Game on March 11th. This is a spring training, kind of concert. We are performing Casey at the Bat, which is a great young people's performance. We are inviting people to wear their favorite team jersey. I don't know whether you're an Indians or Cubs fan, but that might be the perfect time to bring that jersey back out. That, again, is at 11:30 at the McCoy Center. And then our final concert for this season is H2O on April 29th, again at 11:30, and with an all-water theme.
That sounds like a lot of fun, but when you talk about these special performances, tell me how this idea got started.
Oh, gosh. I guess it got started, I have kids myself, and it's always a struggle taking them into a place where they have to be very quiet and well-behaved and sit still. So I guess from my own experience, I felt for families that, maybe didn't fit into that kind of situation, but still loved music. So I really sat down and thought about the things that were not as easy for me as a mom with young children to come into a concert hall. And then I got together with a few of my friends here, VSA and CAST and Bridgeway Academy, actually, and just chatted about some of the things that we could do to make a concert sensory friendly and a little more relaxed for those that needed it.
And you brought some of your friends with
did.
you today on the program. And we have Erin Hoppy. She is here from VSA, Ohio. Thanks for coming by.
Good morning.
Tell us, what is VSA, Ohio, and how are you involved with this group of concerts?
VSA Ohio is a statewide nonprofit organization that works to make the arts and arts education more accessible and inclusive of people with disabilities. So we run the gamut in the advocacy and partnerships that we do around the state and here in Central Ohio, which is where we're located. And we were super excited when Heather called and said, come and talk to us about sensory-friendly performances. We've been working a lot with symphonies or theaters or museums who want to make their spaces more relaxed, I think is a good term for that, and make considerations to think about their spaces and how people experience them and how they can be more comfortable. So we had a great time sort of planning and talking about how it might come together. And now here it is.
What are some of the impediments that keep people with disabilities from attending arts events?
There are a number of them, actually. So there's everything from the physical space. Can somebody with a wheelchair actually get in the front door, or do they have to go around back, or is there even an accessible entry way? Are there perceptual issues about how somebody might be treated if they ask for a certain accommodation in a space, like a large print program or something? Or if you're visually impaired and would like to go to a museum, is there an audio description component? Or at the theater, is there an audio description component so that somebody is describing what's happening to you? And I think a lot of arts organizations sometimes fear that accessibility can be expensive or is a lot of work, but it's really not. It's a process and it's fun, and by making different accommodations, you're really opening the doors to a lot of different people, not just people with disabilities.
Now, when you take a look at arts organizations here around the Central Ohio area, have they welcomed this, your input?
I would say so, yeah. Actually, it's been really great. The arts is... we're a creative sector, and if there's ever a sector that can be welcoming and think outside the box of how we can make our spaces more welcoming, we're it. We've got all the great ideas here. And most of these organizations want to welcome as many people as possible. They want to welcome underserved audiences or those with low socioeconomic or different people from different walks of life. And I think once sort of those perceptions about accessibility, that it might be hard or they might not do it right or they might offend someone, fall away, then the doors open up to them in terms of where they can go with their programs.
How can someone learn more about VSA Ohio?
You could absolutely go to our website, which is vsao.org. We're also, of course, on Facebook, where we post different opportunities. I'll be sure to share these sensory-friendly performances. We keep a calendar somewhat of events of things happening in Central Ohio and around the state. And we're open to all kinds of questions and comments from people who just want to be involved, whether they're an artist who wants to make art and pursue a career, or the symphony that wants to think about their space differently and how people access it.
Another one of our guests on the program today is Amy Hess from CAST. And what is CAST? Tell us, Amy.
So CAST is a primary care clinic, and we are focused on providing primary care to teens and adolescents with autism as well as adults, which is kind of rare in the state of Ohio and nationally. It's hard for a lot of individuals with autism to access primary care once they leave pediatrics. So we really focus on that. We're based out of Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, and we have a team of doctors and nurses and staff who are really engaged in making sure that primary care is accessible to individuals with autism.
And you have a personal relationship with the New Albany Symphony. Tell us about that.
Yes, so I have a son with autism. His name is Henry. And when we first met with Heather, she offered Henry the opportunity to be the artist in residency at the symphony last year. So he was able to show his artwork, and he came up on stage and was introduced by Christopher Purdy. And it was a great moment for him. So he's only 16. He has a new art career, so it was a great moment for him to really see an audience react to some of his artwork, and it was a great moment all around. Jim Gonal was really great. He actually gave Henry his opera gloves, so Henry wore those the rest of the time. But all in all, I have to say it was one of the first times we've actually taken Henry to a symphony performance like this, and he loved every minute of it because the relaxed environment allows him to sort of express himself the way he's going to during a show like that. So he had out his paper and his markers, and he was doing some of his artwork, and he actually got out scissors and started cutting it at one point, which everyone around us kind of got a chuckle about because he was listening to the music and completely engaged, but also was doing something that sort of made him feel comfortable in the environment. So it was just a great performance all around, really great crowd that showed up for it. And Heather's done an amazing job out there.
So these performances that are coming up, talk a little bit about the kids who will be going to these and what some of their reactions are to, getting to come to a symphony performance.
I think one of the great things about this is that it's geared towards all ages. So you could bring your newly diagnosed child who might be 2 or 3 years old, and you can also bring an adult who might be 40 and maybe has never gone into an experience like this. So the relaxed environment really allows you to come in, and if you need to leave after being there for 10 minutes, you can do that. If you need to leave a few different times just to go out and sort of maybe regroup and then come back in, you can do that as well. I think when you get into, the standard type of production, a lot of times the doors are closed, the ushers want you to be quiet, and which is needed for the performance. And the relaxed environment lets those rules sort of bend a little bit, so you can come in and out and do what you need to do, and maybe move around in the space, have a little bit more space around you. One of the things that Heather was great about doing was not selling out all of the seats. That way, we had a little more room around us, which was a little more comfortable. Allowing us to choose our seat rather than having an assigned seat. And for some individuals with autism, having that flexibility to be able to choose something and not be, have to sit in one specific space that may be uncomfortable will help them engage in that performance. The thing that we always talk about, too, is that if you go to a performance and you're there for 10 minutes and leave, that's great. That was successful. We're hoping the next time you come, you stay for 20 minutes, then the full hour. And then eventually you go to a full Broadway production in New York. We're going to graduate you to the point where you can access any community art venue, to its fullest potential.
And Amy, how can people get more information about CAST?
So if you just look under Ohio State University, the Center for Autism Services and Transition, we have a webpage. We're based out of the OSU Internal Medicine Department, and just give us a call, and we'd be happy to talk to you about primary care.
And Heather, I know that you also have Methodist Elder Care involved in this program. Tell us a little bit about how they got involved.
Yeah, sure. We're really fortunate to have Wesley Woods coming into town, into New Albany. And I met Michelle Dose, and we were chatting about some concert opportunities. And one thing we chatted about were the barriers that maybe someone with dementia or Alzheimer's might have coming into a concert setting as well. So we decided to include them and include them on our sensory-friendly performances in this more relaxed environment. I think it's going to be a great partnership, and we're very excited to have them with our partner this year.
And we do have two guests from Methodist Elder Care. We have the CEO, Meg Carmody, is with us, and the development director at Wesley Woods at New Albany, Michelle Dose. Thank you both for being here. Meg, starting off with you, tell us a little bit about what is Methodist Elder Care Services?
Thank you for having us. Methodist Elder Care is the parent company of Wesley Glen on North High Street and Wesley Ridge in Reynoldsburg, and soon to be Wesley Woods at New Albany.
And talk about the services you provide.
We are continuing care retirement communities. We have everything from independent to assisted, skilled nursing, and, of course, memory care.
Now, we have seen over the last few years the quote-unquote aging of the population, so I imagine your services are more in demand than ever.
Which is why we are building Wesley Woods at New Albany. We think there's definitely a growing need in Central Ohio, and we are up to the task of meeting it.
And, it's interesting when you're involved in a program like this, you're not just caring for the patients, but you're at the same time trying to enrich them when it comes especially to the Alzheimer's patients or the dementia patients. Tell us a little bit about some of the services you offer for them.
You bet. We at Methodist Elder Care, Wesley Glen, Wesley Ridge are very much into brain fitness for all of our residents. Music is a big part of that. And for the Alzheimer's and dementia folks, many of whom were symphony followers their whole lives, music can reach them in ways that nothing else can. It really is sometimes overwhelming. If you can get a certain person to hear a certain piece of music, they come alive for that like they do for nothing else. It's very cool.
And Michelle Dose also with us. You'll be with the brand new Wesley Woods at New Albany. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the New Albany Symphony program on Saturdays.
Sure. Thank you for having us. I met Heather through a mutual connection at the New Albany Community Foundation. New Albany in general has been very welcoming, and they really have embraced Wesley Woods at New Albany. So we're excited to join such a vibrant community, especially one that has so many arts and music offerings, such as the New Albany Symphony.
Mm-hmm. And how can people get more information about your organization?
There's a couple of websites that they could visit. There's www.methodisteldercare.org, and there is our new facility in New Albany, which is wesley@newalbany.com. We are in the midst of our capital campaign right now, and we have opportunities for naming for donors, such as our music and memory program. So this could be beneficial on both ends of the spectrum.
Meg, talk a little bit about how many patients you're serving right now and how that's going to change when you open the new facility at New Albany.
Currently, between Wesley Glen and Wesley Ridge, we have, on any given day, between 550 to 600 residents, and Wesley Woods will add another 150 to that. So total company-wide, about 700 residents and about 700 employees between the three companies.
Is demand high for your services? Or is there a waiting list, or how does that work?
We are full to capacity.